there's this heavenly bliss that enters in. You feel it. It's tangible. You wear it. And then when you speak about it, it spreads. See, there's this glory realm that God means for us. Now, this year, you see, when we keep showing this gate, it's about stepping into a new glory realm. It's about going through into a place you've not been. Coming out of striving. Going in to a place where you don't really know the land, but you see the presence of God who's led you to this new place. And because you can see His presence, you can maneuver through the land. And it's just as important. Pam asked me a question the other night about something I had done, and she said, did the Lord really mean for you to do that? Well, immediately, I said yes. And then during the middle of the night, the Lord said, this is what I meant for you to do. This is what you did. So I went, and she had said, don't wake me up. Don't wake me up. It's Shabbat. It's Saturday morning. Do not wake me up. At 6:30, I woke her up. Because the Lord had revealed to me what she asked me. And believe it or not, I was wearing the glory strong enough that my life was still intact. Now, there's this glory at the gate this year. Let's say that out loud. There's a glory at the gate. Now, with that, you need to remember that you're carrying a glory. You were made to carry the glory. Robert's going to expound on that today. You're made to walk in it. You're made to see out of the glory. You have an ark within you that can be filled with a person and a presence. Look at somebody and say, it's not just about you. Now, when salvation comes, you activate the door for that room to be occupied. That's what happens. But not only is it occupied by a person that you submit to, that displayed Father to us, it's occupied by His Spirit. His Spirit then begins to flow through your blood veins. And all of a sudden, that same glory and power that raised Him from the dead is now dwelling in your core. The problem is, I don't know that we know how to access it. I don't know that we know how to access the healer and the glory the healer carried. I don't know that and it's not a condemnation on us either, because I've done it at times where we've seen miracles. We have them recorded, but I don't always access that Jehovah Nissi in me. I don't think we always access Jehovah Rapha in us. Jehovah Jireh in us. It's easier for John Mark to say, Dad, I need $1,000, than accessing Jehovah Jireh. See, Shatice came in the other day to get her, and she said, I'm going to get my hair fixed, and I knew Jehovah Jireh was saying, provide for that. See, I don't think we know how to access who we are. Therefore, we rely upon what we can see. We rely upon who we know. And I am here to say there's a more excellent one. Now, let's look at this glory at the gate. You start seeing the glory start being really revealed. First of all, you see it at the beginning of Genesis. It's more of a conception where the earth is just a mess. And people don't get into that. It's something about religion that can get you off track. Robert has taught many times the right way to understand that. We have no idea how long those 6 days took before the Lord took Shabbat. And so because a day is as 1,000 to the Lord. And therefore you can really get messed up trying to figure all that out. And first of all, it's not necessary that you understand all that. But the Spirit came down and hovered because the Spirit wanted to penetrate all of that chaos with glory. The Spirit wants to penetrate your chaos with glory. It's no different today. But you really see it happening in Exodus when it's time for a movement to begin. Everybody say movement. You see it in Exodus chapter 3 when God is ready. The people are a mess. They're down in Egypt in that first heaven under all those gods that are pressing them down in the mud with no straw. All those gods that Egypt worshipped is about to take out God's covenant people, and some way or another a cry rises up. Let's give a shout up into heaven. And the Lord said, after 436 years, that cry came all the way up to him, and he acknowledged it. In other words, they even got up into the heavens in Egypt. Now that's a point for you to understand, because sometimes you don't have to have the right words. You don't have to have the right understanding. You just have to have the right sound. And that sound has to be so desperate that it breaks through all of those 10 gods that rule them. Now the 10 gods are still there, but you've gone all the way up into the throne room. Now all of a sudden God's going to back you and come down. And the Lord starts saying, well, I'm going to need this. Let me go find Moses, because he really was moving with me for a while. His mother had faith, went 3 months of faith, got him into the kingdom, moved him into Pharaoh's house, got him with Pharaoh's daughter, and then he got all messed up. Now he's on the backside of the 40 over there been working there for 40 years, but I'm going to go find him. Are you aware that God can find you anytime he needs to find you? He knows the mess you're in, but he can find you. And he finds Moses by all of a sudden bringing his glory down into a bush where he's working. Running his father, who is a Midianite, father-in-law's business. And God comes down into this bush and starts revealing his glory. But here's the key verse that you find. It says the bush didn't burn because it was a different type of fire. It was a glory fire. Now, what I want to say about that, bushes burn. They burn in the desert. They just catch on fire. This was a different type of fire. The glory can be a fire, but it's a different type of fire. And here's the one key verse. Moses turned aside to see this bush. Now that's the key. Will you, when God comes down in the midst of where you are, turn aside to see? See, that's where it starts. All of a sudden, his something unusual, some presence, some weight, some dimension, some miracle, some intervention. All of a sudden, he comes down, but you have to have some willful act to turn and see. Or else you're just going to keep going your own way. That doesn't matter where you are. Babylon didn't title. Jack in the Box. The oil company. Church. Sometimes that's the hardest place for him to come down. Because we've already got how we want to do it. God help me if I ever do that here. I just want to follow Judah. And so God displays his glory for us. And then notice how he operates, and this is where you don't have to get so politically messed up, people. He says here in chapter 14 of Exodus, after he has already come down and dealt one by one with those false presence that is ruling his covenant people, he then says here, now, I'm going to get you to a place, I'm going to harden Pharaoh's heart so that he will pursue you, and I will gain glory over Pharaoh. Listen, that political realm does not threaten him, people. Because he's doing a lot of stuff to gain glory within that realm. He's coming in and confronting it. He's moving. You know why? Because there's certain people crying out and bringing him down into that atmosphere. All that with Pharaoh was to reveal God's glory. Now, look at Psalm 16 for a moment. I want you to see this. Because this is what is so important for us to understand. There is this glory realm in you. As for the saints who are on the earth, verse 3, they are the excellent ones. Look at somebody and say, you are the excellent one down here. He delights in you. Say it out loud. Their sorrows get multiplied when they run after other gods. O Lord, you are the portion of my inheritance in my cup. You maintain my lot. The lines have fallen to me in pleasant places. I have a good inheritance. In other words, I have a boundary where you have given me a portion and you want to come down in that portion. I will bless the Lord who has given me counsel. My heart also is instructed in the night seasons. Listen, people, don't poof off dreams. I've set the Lord always before me, because he is at my right hand. I shall not be moved. Therefore my heart is glad. My glory rejoices.